Welcome to the Burke and Betas podcast. Every episode we'll be watching a different movie that is recommended by you guys in the YouTube comments on this video on the Burke the Nerd channel. We're going to be watching a different movie or maybe a season of a show, depending. And then we'll be spending the first half of this episode talking about the movie we watched. And then the second half we'll be doing some other comic book movie, TV, anime related, video game related content at the end. More game showy type stuff. We'll get to that later. We should probably say who we are as well. That's probably a good way to start. I'm Burke the Nerd. We have over here to this side, Mako.
There's no one to that side.
No, yeah, it's right here. It's pointing
it's
to him.
It is.
On mine, it's pointing to him. And then below me, we got Mr. Otter, aka Jared. And then down here, we have Meaningless Prophets, aka Tom. And it's different for you. It's the same for me.
You can call me John Mulaney.
You can also call him John Mulaney. Well, maybe not. Is it John Mulaney got like a bunch of stuff?
Really? Oh, is John Mulaney not in the good eye?
Oh no, it's just a cheating scandal, right?
Cheating on his wife. They may or may not be getting divorced, so maybe that's something to look out for.
Wait, his recent wife? Wasn't he like? You know what?
You're gonna have to fit that into your impersonations.
She came on to me.
It's really just like a little bit lighter Kermit the Frog, I think is the right.
I know, yeah. That's what I was going for. The tip doesn't count as cheating.
Yeah. I love how chaotic this is already.
It's where we want it to be, just like Morbius.
I think the Mormons call that soaking, but
Burke, is not cheating.
Could you explain to the people why this is called Burke and The Betas, or are you just?
No.
Wonder.
Because we're just this is just a bunch of betas in a room talking movies,
Yeah, we're really submissive.
I'm sure there's no other reasons. We're just really submissive people.
We will always back down when the other guy starts talking.
That's why it's a lot of people being like, no, you go. You talk next.
Yeah. I will not take the initiative. You go ahead.
We started because we didn't have anyone recommend a movie or TV show for us because we hadn't made an episode yet. We decided to start with the best movie of all time, Morbius. All of our homework this week was to watch the Morbius, and I had never seen it, and so I figured this was a good chance to start. I was thinking I could avoid it, but I decided, why would I let the best movie ever made just sit there on Netflix and not watch it? And so I decided to, put my subscription to use and watch it. We've all watched it here.
I'm the only one who's seen it twice because I'm the only one who saw it back in March or April.
Truly blessed.
It came out. And let me tell you, that was a theatrical going experience if I ever had one. Because I just distinctly remember the only time I remember just even smiling during seeing this in theaters is when after the post-credit scenes, the guy next to me started giggling and said, "Well, that was something," and then I just lost it.
They should put that guy in the movie. That was something, guy.
So. Yeah.
Now, Burke, can you slide over just a little bit to give the people a good view?
Oh yeah. This is obviously going to put up the Rotten Tomatoes score here.
The real score.
As well as the audience
the real
score. Which surprisingly, well, not so surprisingly, the critics like this way more than the fans. I mean, this was a movie. This was a movie made for the critics. This is a movie that was made for. This is honestly a love letter to Hollywood, I would say.
Yeah. It's currently, of course, the Oscar nominations aren't out for next year, but, Hollywood insiders are telling us that Morbius is nominated in every category.
Yeah. I've heard they are even giving Jared Leto, awards for things they're giving him an Emmy for this, I heard.
Yeah.
They're actually a Nobel Peace Prize.
This is the first movie to cross genres.
Yeah, he's getting a Grammy, he's getting a Tony. He's going for the full EGOT with this one.
He's getting the Nickelodeons thing, Teen Choice Awards.
They're actually submitting the custom-made vampy rap that was made for the movie. They're actually putting that out for a Grammy. It's crazy.
Yeah,
they really did a number on this one. I don't really have a structure to how I want to talk about this, so I think we'll just go around and let's just hear your thoughts. Makeup, what did you think?
Okay, I have something really important to say. Really important.
So. What did you? I apparently. So we've all had this homework to watch it, and we've all taken notes. From what I hear, I didn't ask anyone, but we all took notes. Yeah. How do you not with a movie like this? Tom, you seem to be eager to go start. Why don't you kick it off?
I just want to say that with his hair, Jared Leto looks like Courtney Cox like the whole time. That's all I was thinking about. I was like, he looks so familiar, and he looked just like Courtney Cox.
Put that on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Can we get a?
Yeah, we need to have bullets here of Morbius-isms.
Yeah, we already got all this going down.
Build out some Morbisms. Okay, so
Morbs.
I maybe you know what? Here's how we should go. Is I'm gonna go through and kind of go through the synopsis of this movie, and then and we can go through.
That looks awful.
That way. All right. We'll go. I'm gonna read.
That was not a criticism.
The movie spoiler. By the way, spoilers for Morbius. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. Go on Netflix, watch Morbius. Come back to us a few days after you've recovered, and we'll talk. And you can continue watching this video. So here we go. I'm gonna read the spoiler description here. It's about a page and a half long. As we read, just jump in when you have thoughts, because I will go this way. I think that's the best structure we can do here. Somewhere in Costa Rica, a team of scientists led by Dr. Michael Morbius, Jared Leto, arrive at a cave. Morbius steps forward to the cave's entrance and cuts his hand, then holds it out as a swarm of bats begin flying out, drawn to his blood. The rest of the men retreat back to the chopper.
That's not how vampire bats work.
Yeah, they don't suck things dry. I think they just like nibble on them and get the blood out. I don't think they like.
Also, this is the first point when I wrote down vampire bat related exposition.
Yeah, also
when he's like explaining.
Also, like, I thought, based on all trailers, that was when he was going to get his powers. That he was going to get his powers by being bitten by like 1,000 of these bats as part of his planned experiment. But instead, we start there, which, first of all of the people, the Costa Ricans there, don't know why they're taking this man out here. He's like, do you need a doctor? I am a doctor. You saw him get onto this helicopter. You were tasked onto this crew.
Those guys, those like Costa Rican mercenaries, they're just normal vampire bats. They're not special bats. They're not something from ancient legend. They're just normal bats.
According to the pilot, he seemed like he did not want to be here after dark, whatever that means.
The bats will come out, I guess, and eat him.
Yeah, like, are there like actual vampires over there? And so, so then he also has this device, right? He has it's just a bars with like some string. They fly around it. He holds his hand to it, but what does the device do? Did I miss something there?
This
obviously
it wasn't a cage, was it?
Obviously, it catches the bat. So he can take all those bats back home with him, even though the helicopter left without him. And then, in his super secret giant tube in his hospital room, right across from his patient's room, and, put all the bats in
there. There is so much wrong with that lab scene. Anyways, if we're talking about the Costa Rican cave part, I feel like there was a lot more like exposition that they were gonna have there that like got cut during reshoots or something. Because
I promise you, there probably was.
They just go right into it, not explaining anything. Like why? Like you were saying, why that cave in particular? Is there something special about these bats? I mean, when he's in the lab scene, he's like, bats have this special enzyme or something that
anticoagulant
to blood or whatever. It's just anticoagulant.
It's all about the coagulants
or whatever. It's like, so you could have just gotten any bats that drink blood. Why did it have to be that particular?
There are more animals than just bats have that.
Oh, you think they were trying to like say those were special vampire bats, like only in that cave, but they just never said it?
That's what I'm thinking. Is that these were supposed to be a very special breed of them? I honestly.
But to your point, John, there probably was more stuff, because if you see the marketing for this movie, there's obviously a ton of it got cut and reshot. So who knows? They might have.
It seemed like it was supposed to happen somewhere in the middle of the movie. Like it seemed like they only did the flashback because they were like,
yeah,
how he got his powers is super important.
We don't really know where to put this anymore.
Yeah, during those first,
just shove it right in the front.
Yeah. During those first 10
Get out of the way
like they tried to play with non-linear storytelling just because it'd be even more boring. It's just and it just doesn't work. Anyway.
So 25 years earlier in Greece, nice flashback, we see... I'm going to hold off for a second. We see a young Michael, Charlie Shotwell, living under the care of Dr. Emil Nicholas, Jared Harris, as Michael suffers from a blood disease. Ooh. The institution they are living in welcomes another child with the same disease, Lucien Joseph Essed, which I have a whole lot of thoughts about that. But Michael refers to him as Milo due to the last kid there being named it. No, that's not true. Due to all of the kids being there being forcibly named Milo by Michael, in which even the doctor.
Yes. Doesn't it make it seem like they're bullying him? Like the doctor has decided to bully him.
This
too?
kid just like apparently didn't care. Also, where are these kids' parents? Do they get these rare blood disease and then they just become orphaned? Is it an orphaned disease? What happened to their parents?
Milo was like dropped off by his parents, right? And he talks about his dad and stuff.
Right.
But you don't see them, and
they never show up again. And the doctor, is it the same doctor as later in the movie?
Yeah,
like the grown adult doctor?
Yeah.
Why does he stay with just these two and move to New York City with them? Why are they in Greece?
Well, I think he was hired.
Sorry, I was gonna say I think they do. I think that their parents do abandon them there. At least based on this quick synopsis that I'm reading here, it says their adoptive father and hospital director. So
Wait,
I
what?
think their parents just leave them there, just abandon them.
Wait,
I think they're orphaned.
Doesn't Milo later in the movie bring up like his dad and then like where the money is, like, or is he referring to the doctor as dad?
I don't know.
It might be the doctor, honestly.
There's so much of this movie that just is for some reason not explained very well at all. They just like go over. Like
the one thing I've noticed about this film is it just like it pushes forward no matter.
Yes.
It is terrible, but it just pushes forward no matter how nonsensical the dialogue is, or like the leaps in logic.
Well,
it just
John, they gotta get the ball
it just
rolling.
hits you with something, and then it just tries to keep moving so that you don't like sit too long and question it.
Yeah,
which we're clearly doing.
They gotta
now,
get the movie going because they need to make sure that they get you quickly to the post-credit scenes that change the world.
That's true.
Yeah, it's all it wanted.
That's all it
certainly
wanted.
did.
Okay, so then and then we jump to like Milo's machine dying, which by the way, once they establish him as Milo, his name is Milo to literally everyone until he dies. Like,
yeah.
And then finally Michael's like, I remember your real name. It's such a good thing. Aren't I a great person? Okay, so he's in this hospital and he's harassed by other kids who taunt him for his condition and kick him while he's down. Yeah, they literally from the window say, "Look at the freaks!" from downstairs.
These bullies were like the most comically evil bullies. These kids have rare blood disorders.
I also would like to add that, they do like a quick 30 seconds, I guess, trying to show that time has passed to establish that Milo or Lucien, I'll call him by his real name if the movie won't. Lucien and Kid Morb.
You're dead naming him.
Have bonded, and that goes on for all of 45 seconds. I'm sorry, Tom. And then I like how later in the movie, Lucien confronts the doctor, whoever Jared Harris is playing. And it's like, you've always favored Morbius. I'm like, I'm pretty sure in that 40 seconds of Lucien and Kid Moore bonding is more screen time than Jared Leto and Jared Harris share in the entire movie.
I know, yeah, like they don't establish things. They'll just bring them up later. Like he was always your favorite. But like that's what I was like. This movie feels like people think a movie is just events and nothing else. So they'll just have stuff happen. They won't try to make you care about the characters or foreshadow stuff. They'll just have things happen after each other.
Which comes to the next best part of the movie, in my opinion. Back in the present, Morbius is up for a Nobel Peace Prize in Sweden, where and a quote, they said, "We are honoring because he made artificial blood and saved more people than penicillin," which is just the most we want to make this character sound awesome idea that a kid would write. This guy made blood and saved bajillions of people. Here's a Nobel Peace Prize in Sweden. I'm too good for that. I'm going to reject it. It was like...
But it didn't save my life, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the penicillin thing, I searched this up real quickly. So they're saying that he has saved more than 200 million lives. They say right here. Of course, I'm not like really fact checking this a whole lot, so take this with a grain of salt. It says since
if you Google it, it's true.
200 million lives have been saved because of penicillin.
I know. I'm like,
within the time he invented the blood, it has saved more people.
Yeah. Also, I love how they like made it comically like pale blue, so they can just say, "You drank the red, huh?" I'm surviving off the blue.
Also, I like how just jumping back a little bit. We got back to when they were kids. How when Milo's machine fails, he just like puts a spring back into place, and Jared Harris is like, "You're a genius.
You're a genius." Nobody could have done that the way you did it.
All right,
that's just talking your kid up.
It's like Top Gun.
He's like the Tony Stark of the Venomverse.
Yeah,
I know. It's like they go from that to him being like, "You're the smartest man alive. You invented fake blood and saved bajillions." He is treating a young girl, Anna, who suffers from the same condition as him. Morbius works with his girlfriend, Dr. Martine Bancroft, who Adria Arjona, who
Isn't
thinks
his girlfriend at that point?
That's implied, I think. Who thinks
really?
Which, like, can you work together? I don't know.
Ambiguous.
Who thinks he is pushing himself too hard in his endeavors. It is also said that Milo, now played by Matt Smith, is the benefactor for their project of mixing bat DNA with human blood, which is just hilarious. Like, you mixed bat DNA with human DNA. This movie is like campy, like early 2000s comic book movie.
I saw someone comment, like, it's like someone like got really inspired after the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, but forgot to release it after 20 years.
That's literally what this movie feels
like. It feels like it came out in 2005. It's just like all the classic.
It really does
superhero
feel
movie stuff.
Like those early, like the Ben Affleck Daredevil and stuff. Like
yeah.
It's just like without any of the charm that came with that.
Without any of
disagree.
The actual fun that came with it.
So, yeah, having Matt Smith in it somehow didn't make the movie any better. He has recovered from the bats. Oh wait, let's see here. As this is what Morbius thinks will cure his disease, the bat DNA. He has recovered from the bats from the cave for the. He has recovered the bats from the cave for the project. He tests his serum on a lab rat who appears to die. Moments later, Anna starts to have a seizure, but Morbius is able to take care of her before she suffers a stroke. Martine looks back at the lab and sees that the rat has revived as moving, meaning Morbius' serum is a success. First of all, no, it doesn't.
Morbius' giant lab is right across the hall from his...
Yeah, it's also just hilarious that it's like, that does not mean it works. You jumped from rat trials immediately to human trials. That is not
more because he says
it's not very exciting.
I didn't keep counting.
It was 117. It was 117 when he tested on the rat that died and then came back to life again. And then by the time he did the test on himself, it was like 245 or something.
Oh, okay, so he did.
I guess it's assumed that he had more.
As another like
trials,
where
he didn't do a double blind or anything.
They just jumped straight to we're going to the ship. Also, did he need a ship? Did he need a ship to do this?
Burke, it's a classic movie trope to not understand maritime laws and just say international waters. We need to do this there.
I mean, I think he's right that you could probably. I think
anything's legal in international waters.
I think it's about I think it's in international waters. Whatever ship that you are, the ship is assigned to registered is what the laws you follow. So if he was in if it was like a Cayman, that's why all the cruise ships register their ships with like Caribbean islands, like the Caymans, because that way they can basically buy out the governments there, so they don't have to worry about laws. That's a true thing. So that's why a lot of human trafficking happens on cruise ships, actually.
Yeah, so
there you go.
Yeah, so in that conversation, that when he's talking to Lucian in the park, he's like, "We're gonna need
A
like
bigger boat.
mercenaries and a boat, and we're gonna need to do it over international. And that's the point when in my notes I wrote, movie does not understand maritime law.
You can just do
underline
anything in
it.
international waters. You can like kill
Movie-
people and kidnap stuff.
Kidnap stuff.
The movie also
Yeah.
doesn't understand science too much either, but you
Or
know,
vampire bats.
I guess it can stretch the truth a little bit.
Yeah, did none of the rats turned into bat monsters? They just
I-
they just came
Well,
back.
okay,
I just
alive?
have-
I'm sorry, but what if they just made the rat turn into an actual vampire bat? Like, it gets
just-
bit and it just turns into a
Maybe
regular
it-
vampire
maybe
bat, and he
it
releases it into the crowd, into the cage with the rest of them.
Maybe it did turn into a. I mean, they never show. They should have. Yeah, what a cooler
We need a
setup would have
Stuart
been
Little
is-
spin-off series of him getting
It's-
captured by
that'd be
Morbius,
great.
turned into a vampire, and then released.
The rat can go to an orphanage then and get adopted over the other kids that are there.
Maybe the rat was turning into a vampire bat and would join the other vampire bats. He's like, "Where do my rats keep going?" And he thinks it works.
Well, what we,
He's like,
what we
"They
didn't
keep-
say, was at in the final fight, when he summons all the bats. And if you look closely on the ground, they probably CGI'd in the rat vampire running in.
Okay. Morbius goes to meet Milo and Nicholas to get more funding to continue his experiments on a ship. First of all, greedy. On international waters, Milo has been living under Nicholas's care since childhood. Morbius and Milo have become like brothers. Also, Milo is like a crime boss somehow as well. Like he's got
Is
like
he?
this Russian. He's got like Russian guards and stuff, and like millions of dollars.
Where do they explain where?
And then they talk
Get
about
the
him
money?
maybe being a
Nope.
lawyer, but he didn't finish law school. So like that's like that. They say that briefly. Yeah, they don't talk about it at all. He's just a millionaire with like more than a millionaire because he's just renting out a private boat with mercenaries.
Yeah.
It's purely just to move the plot along.
Yeah. Also,
That's
like, is it implied that Morbius kills everyone on that ship or just the mercenaries? Because that's a massive ship. Are you telling me like the rest of the crew, other than the armed mercenaries, are also? Did he go into like the freaking captain's quarters and just like maul all them too for fun?
I think the mercenaries were the crew of the ship.
Oh.
It was a big boat.
They
That's a
only
big-
said they
yeah.
found. Did they say they only found like 8 dead bodies?
I think
though?
so.
Is that enough? Is that enough to run a ship like that? I don't actually know.
He
don't
really
think
screws
so.
over Martine by killing all of them because then she's just there in this unmanned boat. Anything could have happened.
Yeah, also not to mention that fact that he literally just like, he sees her unconscious and his first thought is like, okay, she's breathing. That's all. I'm going to go back to everything else.
Yeah,
like,
she hit her head. She could have been in
she
a
could have been
coma.
internally bleeding, like coma, and then he just ditches her on the. He doesn't worry about getting her medical care. He just calls in, and then leaves. And
Jump.
like,
Terrible doctor.
bold move. Also, like, if no one's boating, like, captaining this boat, it's a massive boat to have just be wandering aimlessly 3 miles offshore. Like,
Yeah.
It's also like
'cause-
the classic movie thing where someone falls, hits their head, and they're unconscious. Like it just constantly happens. And
All
they're
the
like, let's
time.
just go with that.
and she was like lightly pushed, and then she was done out for
I'm
the whole
out.
scene. And then, not to mention the fact that she comes to, she never saw this vampire form. Not really.
no,
she like
right?
she like briefly got a glimpse, and so
She saw
but
him
then
hanging from the ceiling.
yeah, but then when she came back, she had like a full understanding. It was implied that she had a full understanding that he had transformed into a vampire and was just like kind of fine with it. It's like,
Martine's chill.
yeah,
Well, she saw him eat the guy, the one guy.
Yeah.
So she's like, got the gist of it. But yeah, I also like how the serum that he created using just normal vampire bats gives him a variety of not bat related.
Yeah, he's got super speed and he can fly without wings.
He's this weird smoky thing.
listen, you got to take that up with the comics, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that smoky thing. Do other people see that, or is it imply it's just an effect they were doing? Because when he's in an orange jumpsuit, it's orange, so it's whatever clothes he's wearing.
Hold on. What is Morbius's comic book origin? Because I'm pretty sure it's more special than just.
Oh yeah,
normal
look it up.
vampire
You look it up.
bats.
We did, and so we kind of skipped ahead and talked about the serum and all that, and on the ship everything that happened. So then we jumped to the 2 most unnecessary characters in the movie. FBI agent Simon Stroud, Tyrese Gibson, and Al Rodriguez, Madrigal. They're brought on to investigate the crime scene.
Detective Rodriguez so much.
Dude,
why is he there? Why are either of them there?
They needed a comic relief character.
What purpose do they serve beyond that one scene where they arrest him? Then they are completely
okay. Which brings me to another question, right? So let's just jump ahead. So then we got Morbius. It's implied that he's feeding off the blue, fake blood samples and stuff, which he does drink one red one, and then they backtrack and they say he has not. I would like to point that out. He is seen in one scene drinking the red blood, and then he jumps to the fake blood, and it's implied he never drank the red blood again. So I don't understand that, but that's a whole different side thing. Anyway, he's honing his bat powers. Milo wants some. He says, "No, Milo, I hate you. You can't have any. Get out." And he turns super aggressive towards Milo, and you could totally understand where as the other guy, he's like, okay, easy for you to say, why don't we get me this and then we can talk about a cure together.
Yeah, we don't know that it does that to everybody.
Yeah, we don't know it does that together. Also, we don't know this isn't curable.
And he's being unintentionally vague. He's like, it's a curse. You don't want it.
Yeah, he's
also, I just need to say, because we kind of skipped past the point where he was honing in his powers. There's that scene where he's talking, he's like, the bats kind of accept me as a brother. And he goes into the bat cage with them. And I'm pretty sure that scene with the music is just straight out of Batman Begins.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100% straight out of Batman Begins.
I'm pretty sure in the editing room they're like the temp audio was the Batman Begins score, and then the day before the final score was shit.
I forgot to write a song for this.
Just leave it in.
Yeah, it literally also
this is Batman Begins.
Also, I will say, the scene on the ship with him attacking all of the goons, I actually liked it.
Oh my god, that's a positive thought.
I'm actually gonna say that for this movie, I actually liked the action pieces, and I liked the visuals. I actually really liked those. I think had the writing been good for this movie, all of the other stuff would have hit for me. I just think that the writing was so bad that the rest of it really did because I think it's I was a cool idea to distort the colors and stuff, and how it affect how is sonar's perceiving things, I guess, and then just adding a color to that. I did kind of like that idea. I just think that once you when you pair it with the bad writing, it makes it feel like that's bad. But I think had the writing been good, we would have looked back on this and be like, wow, I really like those visuals. What did you guys think? Do you agree with me, or did you think they were a little bit too much?
I don't think they were that bad.
I thought sometimes the visual, especially with the echolocation effects, looked cool, but other times it just looked like just random colors wafting around people.
Does he have echolocation?
It does seem like it. Yeah.
Echolocation or bat radar for the unknown.
Yeah, shouldn't he be making noise? He has to make noise.
In case audiences don't understand what echolocation.
Imagine him.
He should be making squeaking, because that's how echolocation works.
Yeah,
the sound comes back.
Yeah, that is exactly.
I wasn't sure.
Though you could argue if it's hypersensed, it could be his heartbeat or something, and it doesn't technically. If it was really good.
Yeah. Because I was always going to say, the whole point of echolocation is you sending out a sound wave, waiting for it to bounce off of something and come back to you. Right. Whereas I don't know necessarily that's what he was implying.
He seems to have some really enhanced sonar, basically.
But he has to make the noise. So you're saying it's made by
I'm saying maybe it's something, it's his body making noises. Just his blood gurgling.
Either way, the closest thing to a positive thought I have about this movie is that sometimes the echolocation.
Yes.
How come they didn't score this movie with any music from 30 Seconds?
I know, right?
They should have just had a bunch of music.
They have a movie called The Kill.
Missed
opportunity.
That would have been perfect for this movie.
They should have played it when they were fighting.
The movie still would have been bad,
right? But at least it would have been more campy.
Yeah.
He is later found by Milo just as he begins to relapse into his monster state, but Milo helps him get it under control. Realizing that his serum has helped cure Morbius's disease, Milo wants some. But Morbius refuses because he knows the consequences would be dangerous. Later, Morbius goes to the hospital that Martine is staying at to check on her. Is it the same hospital? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, a nurse is attacked and killed by a vampire monster, but it's not Morbius, but we're meant to think it is. And then just as he hears about this shroud and Roger, which is important to note because Morbius wakes up dazed and confused, which is like implying to us that he also was in some sort of state. Did he just fall asleep in the hospital chair and then we're like...
How did he...
Which I've woken up from nap dazed and confused.
Which is also the last time we see that girl who he put in a coma for no reason.
Yeah, she never comes up again. Wait, how did Milo administer the serum? They had all this stuff on the ship, and he just takes it. Can you just inject it?
I think he would have had to get it injected into his spine or something.
Yeah, how did he do all this?
I don't know how he managed that, unless he had some goon do it for him.
Yeah,
he had a goon. His goons. Yeah. Clearly, which we never see.
Didn't he do it at the hospital after Morbius said no? Because didn't the vampire eat that woman there?
Yeah, it's almost like he says no and then just does not guard this dangerous material at all.
But then Milo somehow does it immediately because he transforms and he eats the person in the hospital. He didn't leave the hospital.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, under non-bat related superpowers, you can mess with the lights.
No, I think
happens on the ship. That happens.
No, I think that was motion lights.
Those were motion lights in the hallway. Yeah. Those are motion.
She turns them into regular mode.
Yeah, wait, that one I did.
And then she dies.
We have to bring up with Milo, how much he treats him like those movies where a kid has to release an animal back into the wild. He starts being mean to it, get out of here, I don't want you anymore. He starts being mean to Milo, get out, you suck. I was looking back sad.
He does do that.
He's like, you're my brother. Get out of here.
Yeah, well, he's being unnecessarily vague with them. You don't want this. It's a curse.
He's patronizing he's so patronizing to Milo.
If this is your best friend, or so the movie has told me several times to believe, this is your best friend Lucian, who you refuse to call by his real name. You could be a little more upfront. I did something to myself, and it's still killing me, kind of.
I turned myself into a vampire, which they're aware. They're hyper aware that they turned themselves into a vampire because he says it. He knows he's a vampire. Just say, "Hey, dude, I turned myself into a vampire." Crazy, right? They're real, insane. This is everything. If you're his best friend, you tell me they don't talk like that. They're like, "Yo, crazy." I'd honestly be like, you want to try? You want to be a vampire? We can do this together. We can figure out a cure together. Because he's for somebody who's a scientist focused on curing himself this whole life, he does no science after becoming a vampire. He does no science.
Make a better one
what are you talking about? He makes the anti.
He makes the killing. He makes a poison.
Yeah,
the kill.
He makes the poison because he worked hard on it because to bats it's deadly, to humans it's lethal.
Which is
in a meth lab, I think.
Yeah, no, it was a counterfeit. Where they make counterfeit money.
Which is a whole nother thing because printing machines do not make hospital equipment. You cannot just disassemble a printing machine.
No, he's a genius. He's a genius. He can take the printing machine and make a.
We saw what he did with the pen.
Yeah.
I literally just assumed because he was doing working on the antivenom that it was a drug lab or something. I didn't realize
that would have made more sense.
It's so funny.
Also, I just want to say, after they discover that his coworker was killed by Lucian, there's that part where Morbius is just walking up to the scene of the crime, in his he's without his crutches, just as Morbius, He's not even wearing a hood or any type of disguise, just in front of people who should all know him and know about his illness. And he's just standing perfectly fine, looking jacked.
Yeah, they're like, what, did you cure? Did you get cured?
I'm just sorry. I cannot get over the fact that they just when you make any type of machinery, you have to make custom parts for that, and that's such a Nickelodeon Disney Channel type mindset to think that you could just take apart a machine and make a different machine. They don't require very specific custom ordered parts. It is not.
Yeah,
he just MacGyvered it. You know.
Yeah,
They should have just had him go into like
pulled out,
a toaster
and there were
store.
such complex parts he pulled out. He like pulled out this, like he pulled out this like massive like very intricate like structured like metal device, and then just like puts it in a new one a different way, and it works. Like
he did his science.
I've just so much wrong with the like just anything related to like lab equipment and science in this movie. It's just such a bastardization.
Yeah, and so then later Morbius goes to the hospital to check on her. A nurse is attacked but killed by the vampire. That's not Morbius. He is questioned, and then Stroud and Rodriguez, there's the whole thing, and then he tries to flee. The cops shoot at him running away, which is just like, you know, perfect. They're staying on brand with cops. And then they get onto the roof, and this scene made no sense to me. He's running. He's about to jump, right? And then there's like a reverse wind that like stops him.
It was like you see the sonar effect. It doesn't explain why that stopped him. Like what happened?
It's like something
I guess he's
else.
unsure if he could properly fly. I guess
maybe.
But then
it was
all of half a second for Tyrese to get up there from like the bottom.
So
floor.
fast. Also, like Also, he told the cops to like back off. Like I got this myself. Which again, cop behavior is fine. But like if he gets to the top, that the most like hard to understand part of this movie is that a cop could run fast enough to get to the top floor in anything short of an hour. And but anyway, he gets up there and like he stops it. Not to mention the cop's holding a gun to him. He's been shown to dodge bullets before.
Yeah, he could go super fast, just knock it out of his hand and run away.
I'm not sure. Matrix. Is he like, I'm just gonna like, if the whole point of that scene was like, I'm stopping myself, which first of all, it looked like something else stopped him. Like it looked like a force of wind stopped him. That might just been bad CGI.
The way I interpreted the scene at first, right, like before that, I thought it was implying that the cop had super. And he was using his superpowers. I'm like, that's weird. I guess he has powers.
Well, there was apparently a whole thing where like he has like a cybernetic like arm attachment that, again, like many things in this movie, got cut.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. But,
because he did talk about that. You saved me from the war.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're right. He did say that.
But so
anyway, this is
that could be it.
This is the last time either of the two cop characters do anything of relevance.
Yeah, they're not even. Yeah, like so they just bring him in, right? And then it's like, yeah. So he didn't. I don't. Yeah, it seems like they wanted it to be said that he changed his mind and turned himself in, but they didn't run it that way. So it like didn't work out. Also, like in retrospect, it would be kind of bad for the guy whose blood has been injected into millions of people worldwide to come out that he's a vampire. Would probably not do very well in the press. Like, hey, a vampire's been giving you all your blood all around the world. Might be a little sus.
Or it's better, like, I can trust a vampire with blood because it's a thing.
He knows what it takes. He knows it better than anyone.
Clearly,
what a nice positive spin, Tom.
Yeah, you can trust me with your blood.
I have the best tasting blood around. So Stroud and Rodriguez question Morbius in his cell before he's later visited by Milo.
Yeah, this is where he says, "You don't want to see me when I'm hungry,"
which was like, yeah. It wasn't even worth making my quotes because like I said, I made bullets prior to this and it was all just quotes basically. Didn't make it all my quotes.
Just supposed to be an homage to
the Hulk. Yeah, for sure.
This movie could have just been the Hulk because they didn't have to like make a villain. They could have just had him like avoiding the police like the Hulk.
100%.
But no, they're like, let's
go on. Yeah, that like they
could see
they kind of like try to sell you in a story that what the conflict here is that Michael Morbius is a good person who does not want to do any harm, which is in direct conflict with this monstrous side of him. And it seems like the movie wants you to believe that's going to be the story, and that would be a far more interesting story. But then, it does the early 2000s superhero thing where, like, we need to have a bad guy for him to fight who's the same powers as him, and they're going to go pow, pow, pow.
Yeah.
I mean, they did go pow, pow, pow. The fight scene wasn't bad.
Barely.
They honestly, I think that what's his name? Milo put the work in on him. I'll put the work in. Okay.
These guys like know how to fight for people that have been like with a debilitating disease their whole life. Now they've just got all the moves, suplexing each other.
Well, bats are actually very talented MMA fighters. So
yeah.
That's probably why.
They cover, they keep their dukes up.
Exactly. Stroud and Rodriguez question him. Morbius realizes that Milo took the serum for himself because he left his cane, which, by the way, I will say, Milo was handling vampirism way better than Michael, because Milo, like, first of all, number one, Michael's walking around with blood bags, just carrying blood bags. Milo, first thing he does, puts it in a flask. So much smarter. Such a better idea than just freaking walking around with blood bags. Like, come on,
people
Mike.
are just gonna think you're an alcoholic,
right? Like, and it's like, and then when you like act like you want to eat someone, they'll be like, "Oh, he's just trash." Like, fine. So that's how everyone acts when they're drunk. Clearly. After Milo loses cane, he realizes he took a serum for himself, and he's the one who killed the nurse. Morbius goes into the vampire mode and breaks out of the facility.
He goes into Morbius mode.
Yeah, it's a Morbin time, and then he breaks out.
He morbed out.
He becomes when watches as Milo becomes a vampire and kills the man at the newsstand. He was always a vampire. He just killed. Milo attempts to convince Morbius to join him as they can give their newfound powers and give in to their newfound powers and urges. He chases Milo into the subway where they both fly and crash in front of others. Police show up to arrest Milo, and he slaughters them all. Milo attempts to catch Morbius, but he escapes through the tunnels. I'm going to say, in that slow down scene, which was not great, when it was slowing down, he's like realizing his powers, and then it just shows Matt Smith like slow motion running towards him. And it looks so lame. But what I thought that was going to happen in that scene was that he was going to quickly grab Milo and then slam him head first into the incoming train, which would have been way cooler. Side note also, were people waiting at that bus stop or that train stop? Because the train kept going. So did they not stop to pick up anyone there? Was it like a through? Like,
I guess it wasn't.
They got a call.
think anyone was waiting there.
Don't stop here. We got a vampire situation.
Yeah, there seems to be vampires down here. I recommend keep going.
Also, why does Lucian dance so much? Like after he kills the cops, he's like.
I mean, to be fair, I would be dancing if I just learned how to walk for like.
They should have doubled down on Milo dancing. He should have been dancing
more
so
dancing.
much.
Honestly, dance fighting would have been like that. Would have been.
That's his thing. That should have been his thing. He would just disco Pam.
I also like how
Pam.
Michael, why won't you join me and
write on the morbs? Can you write on the morbisms? More dancing, please.
Yeah, it's like. Michael, why don't you want to be a vampire with me? We can live a good life. And then, like, as the entire time, why won't you join me? As he's, like, punching him.
Yeah.
Like, throwing him into walls.
Milo's plan was really strange.
Him.
He just wanted to convince, like, Morbius to be a
good friend. And to be fair, if literally, like, from the get, Michael Morbius had just been a better friend, which, to be fair, in, like, almost every instance of, like, the same villain as the hero, most of those movies, it does come down to if you had just been a better friend, I wouldn't be a villain. And so, like, they are kind of sticking with the campy trope of, like, same power villain. But, like, really, like, if he had just been like, here's what it is, I will help you, but you need to, like, let's do this together. You can't just go killing people. We got to find a solution to solve it. Or if he was just like, hey, give me a day to perfect this serum, because he's clearly smart enough to do it. Like, give me a day to make it so that you don't have like a craving, or at least to make a good substitute for myself, and then we'll get it to you. But he was just so absolute. It's like, no, you're gonna stay like this forever. And
I'm not gonna figure it out either.
Yeah,
I can't figure out how to not make someone a monster.
Yeah, like I can figure out how to like become a vampire with superpowers, but I can't. I can't figure out how to like maybe mild it a little bit. I can't find like something to just reduce some of the symptoms of this disease. So
that it just makes me question like what happened to the successful like mice testing that he did. Did they display any of these vampiristic tendencies after they were injected with any?
Like he would have seen
on mice.
Yeah,
like you're talking about something that happened in a previous scene. You don't have to reference that anymore.
That already happened. You don't understand. That scene already happened.
Yeah, the mice is gone.
After Martine is released from the hospital, Morbius finds her and explains her condition, has to keep it under control.
Yeah, he's conveniently on the same bus as her. And then Morbius.
I was assuming that he followed her there, and just because he was able
But he gets on the bus before her. Like, when she sits down, he's in the seat.
Oh, yes! He's already on that bus. He knew her path.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
And then, Morbius, wanted criminal, and her just sit in public in a cafe, no disguise whatsoever, and openly talk about his condition and their plan.
That's true. So yeah, they have this whole discussion, and then we talked about like the whole counterfeiters thing happened, which they could have done any other route to make it make more sense. But then Milo goes to a nightclub and crosses paths with an aggressive guy. He later follows the guy and his friends down an alley where he kills them. Wait, this whole thing was weird because I get the scene. Right? Fine. Oh, and then he watches Morbius and Martine kiss on a rooftop, which is weird. And then I was thinking about, like, would Morbius have known that he was there? But then I guess if he wasn't talking, he wouldn't have heard it. Anyway, that was the whole thing that I was trying to realize. I'm like, man, as a vampire, if you had two vampires and, like, one of you talked, the other one could, like, know where you are from, like, really far away, and you wouldn't know where they are. Like, it was a very interesting scene. Anyway, Milo like hits on this girl, and this girl is like feeling him too. Like this girl is definitely feeling him, and then this guy is either dating her or just a jerk because he tells her like her drinks are taken, and then he leaves and she's mad at him. So like, are they dating? And she's just like down to clown, or like what?
I guess it seemed like
is it a friend that was just like, come on, man, I'm trying to take her out tonight, like. There was like whatever it was, like she clearly was feeling mad. Like I don't know, man. But yeah, he killed them, so that was interesting. And then, but like I get it, that's clearly where that scene was going. Yeah. So then, they find Stroud and Rodriguez find the dead club goers. They see the surveillance footage, and they're like, "Oh, there's a copycat." Which a copycat?
I like how that's how they describe it. Like anybody could just be a vampire whenever they want from seeing one. They're like, "Oh, that's how you do it. I'm gonna jump around super fast and suck blood."
Yeah, like it's just like, he's a copycat. Like what? They also like honestly, if I was thinking there was a vampire around or somebody with superpowers that's doing this, it wouldn't be terribly far-fetched for me to assume that they could change their appearance. Like, I would probably just be like, yeah, he can shapeshift now. That's not super far-fetched from what we just saw. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't be, like, I would be like either or. I mean, there could be two of them, right? But, like, I would be like, I don't know. Like, one or two of these things, like, I'm not going to say a copycat. That's for sure.
This is also just the second point in the movie where they attempt to be funny and put a Doctor Who joke in there from Matt Smith, and neither of them are funny.
Wait, what was the Doctor Who?
I didn't even get those.
It was that one like after the boating incident where Nicholas goes into Lucian's house. He's like, "How's your pain today on a scale of 1 to 10?" And it's like, "It's an 11," because Matt Smith was the other.
Oh.
And then the spelling food's like, "That's not the doctor." Like, I see what you're trying to do, Sony, and you're not funny. They're not clever.
I didn't even catch those. Yeah, which goes to the next part. Nicholas meets up with him, and through this strain of events, he just kills him.
Yeah.
Milo just kills his dad,
who you've shared 30 seconds of screen time with.
Like, yeah,
like you always liked like Morbius more, Michael more, but like clearly he was always around Milo like all the time.
All the time.
Gave him so much attention.
It makes no sense. So then Morbius meets Martine one more time, is alerted to what happened with Nicholas. He goes to be by his side just as he dies. He is later called by Milo, who has kidnapped Martine. It's a little switcheroo there. Clever,
I know, they literally
clever.
Just switch places.
They must have crossed paths on the way. Did they like fly past each other? Like,
whoa.
I'm going to see Dad. Crazy.
Oh, I just saw him. I'm coming from there.
Oh, weird. I wonder why you were there. I'm sure it has nothing to do with his injuries.
Yep. I like how he gets this devastating wound and he survives it long enough to call more.
Like, yeah, just until he shows up.
Yeah.
And then like you need
not the police.
I'm pretty sure every line of dialogue that Jared Harris had in the scene was like scrapped and just ADR'd in post-production, because I'm pretty sure his lips do not match.
Oh, I have something to say about ADR'd in a minute. But when we get to the end. Yeah. So she's. So then basically he comes back to her. So he runs to one person, dies. Runs back to the other. He runs back to side character number 1, dies. So runs back to side character number 2, also dies. But then he could drink her blood and go Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
and
he's like the
which
worst
more to come
player.
later from that. Yeah, and so then he basically becomes more powerful. He fights Milo. Milo beats the shit out of him, and then basically he becomes skinnier in the face somehow, and then he goes.
Did we skip over the second best piece of dialogue in the movie where he's like, to bats it's deadly, to humans it's lethal?
I think we skipped that. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh yeah, he got a serum. He got a murder serum. Yeah. He created a murder serum. And that was something that happened in the middle of that.
In case anyone needed the distinction of what it does to bats and humans.
Right. And so then he sucks all the blood out of Martine, but then Martine becomes a vampire, but not anyone else.
That's so weird, right?
Oh,
I guess he doesn't suck all her
Here's
blood.
the thing. The important part is love.
Oh, you know what?
Love makes vampires.
I think it was because didn't she like get a drop of his blood or something?
Maybe.
Yeah, she bit off.
Like she bit him.
Is that all it takes to become a vampire? Also, now it just is vampire rules. Like in some vampire stories, if you eat their blood, you turn into a vampire. Now he just really is a vampire.
Well, it's at this point in the movie where it really just
seeming that way.
It kind of just gives up at this point. It's like the climactic fight between Lucian and Morbius. Earlier, 10 minutes ago in the movie, Morbius is like, I'm making 2, one for him and one for me because, I can't be like this type of thing.
Oh my God, you're right.
Morbius fully.
Oh my God, you're right.
On ending his own life, and then
drops it.
Come back to the fight. He stabs Milo with the thing that's deadly to bats and fatal to humans, and then he's like, you gave me my name, remember? It's like, I remember Lucian, and I guess as an audience member, I'm supposed to feel something because we saw them.
You get your name back.
Seconds.
You get your name back, bitch. Die.
And then the movie ends in like the next 15 seconds where Morbius, instead of killing himself like he intended, just flies out of the sewers with his bat friends. Martine wakes up with vampire eyes, and just in time for Morbius to the Morbining. And then cut the credits.
Wait a minute. They also don't address that there's a ticking time bomb for him in which he's slowly losing control because he's going to no longer be able to use the blue stuff.
Yeah,
and
they just forget about that.
They just dropped that. They just didn't get any cure.
Wait, we also have to talk about...
That was a previous scene. We don't need to worry about that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's not now.
We also have to talk about the bat Kamehameha. Like
that's what I wrote that down. I wrote that in my... Put it on the Morbisms. Put it on the Morbisms over here. He literally goes up and charges up, and he goes like this, and then just shoots bats in like a bat ball at him.
Yes, and they just go.
It was insane. I watched that. I'm like, they're doing that.
I don't. They won't listen to him.
Yeah, the bats don't like Lucian.
I'm just confused why he couldn't do this.
He bonded with those
why weren't
bats.
the bats just indifferent to both of them?
Maybe it's just like whoever calls them first.
He has a pure heart.
It's like Pokemon rules.
Yeah, Lucian never had a Batman Begins scene where he just stands in the middle of the bats while the
I guess he didn't know. Yeah.
Another thing. So are those just random bats, or is it implied that they're the bats from the lab?
Yeah, those aren't vampire bats, right? Those are just bats in the sewers of New York City or something.
Because if they were the bats from the lab, he was like killing them and experimenting on them. So why would they want to be his brother? Which is something I forgot to mention earlier. It's just like, do bats just like not recognize? Do these bats just not recognize that? Like he's literally killing them and experimenting on them while they're there in the room, while they can see. I don't know if they can see.
Bats don't have very good eyesight. They just hear him killing them.
It's just
he's taking my DNA, brother.
Morbius.
And so that's the end of the movie. until the end credit scenes. And I was trying to find a better because this one didn't have a good like a perfect synopsis of the end credit scenes.
For the second one, I wrote down what happens exactly.
Yeah, why don't you describe this? You describe exactly what happens. Go ahead.
What happens in the second post-credit scene? But the first post-credit scene is, and this is also going to be spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home, a movie which everyone did see instead of this one, where Sony willfully misunderstands how the effects of Doctor Strange's second spell works in Spider-Man No Way Home, where in that movie, the spell transferred all the villains who entered the MCU back into the original universes. And then instead of following that logic, they bring Michael Keaton's Vulture, who is native to the MCU universe, into the Sonyverse. He appears in a prison cell, and it's like, whoa. And then, you know, you think to yourself, what are some reactions someone would have if they just magically teleported into a different cell? You know, be like, what is this? How do I get here? But, you know, Vulture, he's got his priorities right, and he's thinking, I hope the food is better in this joint.
I wish that wasn't real.
They wrote these scenes as if there's a laugh track playing.
I know, I wish that wasn't real. And you told me that before I watched this movie, and I still was like, oh.
maybe they'll make it work on that. But then, you know, he gets out of jail because naturally they're like, who are you? And then that's the end of the first post-credit scene. And then
they just let him out of prison.
Then what I consider to be both the best and worst part of this movie, because the second post-credit scene is when the movie finally goes full so bad it's good.
Oh yeah. My God.
With dialogue, it feels like Tommy Wiseau wrote
it was so
dialogue.
Literally the rest of the, honestly, compared to the rest of the movie, like this end credit scene, the dialogue there makes the rest of the movie seem like freaking The Godfather in terms of like writing quality. Like it's so bad.
We should team up. Chill.
It's like, okay, so scene. Morbius is seen driving because he did not kill himself, evidently. He has had a change of heart. He is driving out in some rural area and stops. He looks at his watch, you know, because apparently somehow Vulture got in contact with him. And then we see Vulture, who has somehow reassembled his suit, which, you know, the Tinkerer made in the MCU out of, you know, like scraps from the Avengers final fight.
Which they don't have.
Which they do not have in this universe. And I know some people are like, it's a Vulture suit from the Amazing Spider-Man. No, it's not the same. It's pretty much the exact same one from the MCU.
It is.
Like, with slightly different colors.
It is.
And then he flies up and he says, you know, this is verbatim from the film.
Wait, I have to really set the scene here really quick. I would like to point out it is sounding almost like Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Because it is clearly not Michael Keaton saying these lines. It is not Michael Keaton saying these lines.
Yeah. Thanks for meeting me, Doc.
Such a good
I've been reading about you. And Morbius says, I'm listening. And then Keaton's like, or Vulture's like, not sure how I got here. Has to do with Spider-Man. I think I'm still figuring this place out. But I think a bunch of guys like y'all should team up and we could do some good. And then Morbius is like, intriguing.
Yeah, it's like a Tumblr fan fiction or something.
It really is.
It's like Tumblr wrote this.
It really is. It literally, and when I heard it, I'm like, that's not even Michael Keaton. They didn't even bring Michael Keaton in to voice these.
Why are these separate? Why are these separate scenes? Also,
they're separate scenes because they were made at different times. I guarantee you.
But why did they have to show more credits? It's like this. It just leads right into this. It's like the same.
They had to build the anticipation.
No, the reason is because it doesn't line up. Because it literally is not him. Like it literally is not Michael Keaton. That's why he doesn't take his mask off because it's not him.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is,
let's remember this movie. I'm pretty sure most of the recording for this movie took place in like 2019.
That's
right before they even had like a script
for
Spider-Man No Way Home.
This is supposed to come out before Spider-Man No Way Home, and so well, at least after the fact they had the spell. So I wonder what the plan was.
Wait a minute. Do you think that the Vulture? Hear me out. Do you think that the Vulture was a plan before? I'm going to posit a theory here, and I don't know if there's any confirmations of this. I'm going to posit a theory that when they made the movie back in 2019, they did not have Michael Keaton attached, but they did.
He was in the first trailer.
Oh, wait, you're right. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
new posited theory. They made the second end credit scene with that, but then they made the first end credit scene after No Way Home script came out to like make it make sense why the Vulture was there, when originally it was just going to be a different parallel universe Vulture, which would have been way better. Which honestly,
would make more sense.
Would make way more sense.
This is Sony we're talking about. They're just like, screw it, put him in here. It's like
they put
not
all
sure
their
how
chips.
I got here.
Yeah, he could have just been
Spider-Man. I think is like the new.
They put all their chips on Spider-Man. They put all their chips in Spider-Man and just hope to God everything else just works okay.
We're assuming there is no known Spider-Man in this universe. So Vulture is proposing that he and Morbius team up to fight someone Morbius doesn't even know.
Exist.
Yeah. Didn't they say Didn't he at one point he's just like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Venom."
Yeah.
Oh, he
Yeah.
sure did.
Why?
Which memory does
I thought
Venom
it was
does
a
exist in
meme.
this
I didn't think
universe.
that was
Yeah, Venom
real
does exist.
until I saw it.
Does like the public know the name Venom, or did
Yeah.
you know that alien thing from Sandman?
I don't know. I'm assuming they do know. But
Because I'm trying to remember
At
from
least-
the second movie, and like
At least,
they know
so
Venom,
the
but they don't know him by
lady
name.
from the convenience shop should know Venom, because at the end of the first one he says that he's Venom.
So
But I
she's
don't know
telling
how
everybody.
like widespread. I don't know how much her like the word of mouth spreads from that little convenience shop to where does Venom take place? Is that in California?
yeah, San Francisco, because they reference
this
that.
in-
They reference the events of
and
San,
is this
in San
in-
Francisco.
They do. Is this does this movie take? This movie takes place in New York, right? So it's
Yep.
like I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just hard. It's just hard to say with this universe because they don't follow their own rules.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. Here's the clear-cut answer, and I'll stop talking about the jokey meme stuff, and here's actual criticism here. Sony
Bit
just
King.
haven't learned their lesson. They wanted to build this universe centered around Spider-Man characters ever since the Avengers popped off back in 2012.
Yep.
And instead of thinking logically, like we want to build a universe with the characters we have, Spider-Man, and they could go Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man 2099, but they're like, what if we took all of Spider-Man's villains and made them anti-heroes instead? And like they haven't learned their lesson, and they're just chugging full. They're like Warner Brothers circa 2016, but instead of overreacting to people's criticism and changing everything, Sony
They're just sticking
is
with it.
going steadfast, ignoring all of our
Give
begging.
it time.
As we all say, please stop doing these. And they're like, no, we will not. Madam Web is coming.
So on that note, we're gonna wrap up our thoughts on Morbius, and I want to say that if you guys are watching this on Spotify, I'm gonna put this on Spotify as well. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave it in a review. If you leave a 5-star review, you can recommend what we watch next week. Or if you watch on YouTube, just put it in the comments. But you better subscribe. If I don't see a subscribe, I'm not listening to it. Whatever the most commented movie or television series is, we'll watch in one of the future ones. I'm assuming if we get one turned around really quick, a bunch of comments, then we'll watch the ones in this comment for the next video.
We just make a bunch of fake. We just make a bunch of fake accounts and then comment things we want to watch. Breaking Bad.
You can make it as good or as bad as you want. We're gonna probably diss it a lot regardless, but we'll give good commentary if it's a good movie. Or you could torture us and give us stuff like The Room. We've already seen it, but we'll watch it again. Whatever you want. I want to say
Star Wars Holiday
Star Wars Holiday Special. Anything you want us to watch, we'll watch, and then we'll make it in a future video. So you just comment that below. But we're gonna end every segment with a general rating. If you want to do it out of 10, or if you have your own rating scale, you can do that. I'm gonna give Morbius a solid 2 out of 10. Is gonna be my rating. What would you give it, Mako?
I'd have to give it a 0.5 out of 10. Here's the backstory. So I started watching it in the airport a couple months ago, to pass the time. I got about
That's the time.
I got about 25 minutes into the movie, and I was like, "This is god awful. I'm turning it off." And then so I turned it on. So I literally watched the rest of the movie for the first time today, and just the whole time watching, I'm like, I can't wait for this movie to be over. Like, this movie just did nothing for me. Just
Oh my God.
nothing. It was just
0.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
All right, Mr. Otter, what you got?
Yeah, my general thoughts are kind of the same as the first time I watched it, and hopefully this is the last time I watch it. Where after
Won't
the
be.
movie, I'm like, this kind. Sometimes you come out of a superhero movie and you think of how great it was compared to others. And here I was just thinking, what does this remind me of? Movies like, I don't know, Fan-4-Stick, Dark Phoenix, New Mutants, Suicide Squad. I'm like, yeah, it's in that kind of company. So I'm gonna go, if we're doing a numerical score, I'm gonna give it a solid. I'm gonna echo what John said and give it a solid 0.5 out of 10, just for making me laugh so hard for the second post-credit scene. The dialogue is, I'm gonna say it again. Thanks for meeting me, Doc. I've been reading about you. I'm listening. Not sure how I got here. It has to do with Spider-Man, I think. I'm still figuring this place out, but I think a bunch of guys like us should team up. We could do some good. Intriguing.
And Tom, what do you got?
I guess I'll give it like a 1 out of 10. It doesn't. It has legitimately no redeeming qualities. Like anything, it's like boring to watch, and it's not funny. Like even being bad, it's just eventually you just don't want to watch it.
I guess I was more forgiving in my ranking. I will say though, we should go on record. We're going against the norm here. I mean, these percentages don't lie.
Look, there are some things to say in its favor. It is probably the best movie starring Jared Leto as Morbius that comes out next year. It is the highest grossing Morbius movie of all time.
That's true.
It's the highest rated Morbius movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
There's some things going for it.
Cool. So we're gonna at the end of at the second half of each thing. I won't go as long as this, but we've had a movie to talk about this time. So sometimes I bet they won't all go as long as this one. But I have 2 little segments here that I want to do. The first one is Draft Corner, and I sent you guys some topics to think about ahead of time to pull up your list. And I wanted everyone. We're gonna do a draft. Everybody's gonna draft the 3 best comic book movies directors, and then I want everyone in the comments to let us know who wins the draft. And so we're gonna go in a circle. We should do like a number drawing or something. I'm gonna do a random number generator. Everyone pick a number 1 out of 10.
7.
I also pick 7.
Wait, pick another different number.
Wait.
I'm gonna pick 2.
3. Put me down for 3.
Do 8.
Wait, no,
8.
can I do 8 then?
Jared was the closest. It was 6, so he'll start first, and we'll just go clockwise on my clockwise on my screen.
Well,
so it'll go me, and then Mako, and then Tom, and then
Okay.
Tom will pick again, and it'll go back like that. So it'll go
Wait,
back
so we're
the way
just
it came.
picking the best.
So we're trying to make
Director.
the best comic book movie directors.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Thank God I go first. Okay, so we're starting now.
Yeah, we're gonna start now.
All right, I'm taking Christopher Nolan off the board.
Ooh. Okay. Christopher Nolan. Okay, I think this has to be taken as a duo. Why Christopher Nolan? You got who? You just got the Dark Knight trilogy. Is there anything else on that, or I guess that's a good pick.
Yeah.
That's a good pick. Dark Knight trilogy. All right. I think. Can we agree this is because they're 2 directors but the same movies. I'm gonna take the Russo brothers. We got the Captain America movies. We got
They're like
like
ice climbers.
Infinity War. I mean, come on. You got like the best comic book movie of all time in Infinity War, in my opinion. And you have that. Like I don't know how they're not on the list. That's gonna be my number 1 pick. Mako, who you got?
This is a tough one, but I think
I had
I think I might go with with Sam Raimi purely based on his
No!
Spider-Man movies.
Dude, I was gonna do that one, you cheater. I can't. I was
Well,
gonna
okay.
pick
Burke
Sam
wasn't gonna
Raimi.
take that
Listen, I can guarantee you I wasn't going to take it because I
I
think
was
he's
just-
single-handedly responsible for ruining a lot of movies.
I'm so mad.
I will give him credit. I will give him credit where credit's due that he
Try
did
harder,
start.
Burke. Nobody's listening.
Sam Raimi's good.
He
And
started
whatever
a lot.
Burke says. Burke
But-
and him dated back in 2019, and so Burke's still salty about that.
It's just
So
like he broke up with me over text, you know?
it happens. You just gotta get over it. We do this about
It's
Sam.
all right.
We
At
knew
le-
he was like
At least
that.
I could sit happy knowing none of you were Snyder bros. All right.
Oh,
That
This
brings
list
me to
is gonna get
mine.
pretty thin by the time we get through it, so he might show up.
I'm gonna pick James Gunn.
damn it!
Ah, no.
I love the Suicide Squad. That was
Okay.
that's actually a really good movie. I think.
That was going to be my
Wait,
second round.
can I talk
draft
about
pick.
that technically all of James Gunn's movies are actually like the same movie?
Yeah,
Where
they
like,
are good.
They have a motley crew with some animated thing like helping them out. So like
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, and it has Scooby-Doo.
Oh
Suicide Squad, it has the
my
shark.
god,
And
you're right.
Guardians of the Galaxy is Groot, and they're always a motley crew, and they're like and then like they'll split up at some point in the movie to do their own things separately, and then come back, and then they're like we're a family. And that happens
You
in every
son of a
James Gunn
gun.
movie.
Yeah. That's fair.
You broke the code.
Now you get a second one. You get a second pick and then it'll go back the other way.
I gotta think because I actually don't know a lot of directors. I was really hoping I could pick James Gunn and Sam Raimi. Let's think. Can you guys list some directors for me to take? Who directed?
We have just
let me think of movies I liked. Who directed? What was a good?
If you're thinking of who directed Thor: The Dark World, that would be Alan Taylor.
Alan Taylor.
I'm gonna wait. I'll take even though the most recent Thor film was good, I'll take
Taika
Waititi.
No, that was on my list too.
Yeah, that's right.
If
Even
you
though
like
the
the
most recent
Justice
Thor was
League,
bad.
Zack Snyder,
What?
Well,
Batman versus Superman.
No.
Wow,
I mean,
greatest film ever. No,
yeah.
man.
B-Man versus S-Man.
See, I feel like
am I picking-
just to spite me.
Yeah, you're picking next, Mako. Go ahead.
Okay, this one is a little out of left field because I don't know if he's done too many comic book movies. But I would pick Guillermo del Toro for the two Hellboy movies.
Oh.
I really like those.
And you
I
get
did
Blade
like those
too.
actually.
Oh, and Blade 2.
Wait.
Oh,
Did he actually?
Yeah, the second
Blade
Blade
2.
movie.
I don't
Wait,
know that.
can we talk really quick? Talk about that second Hellboy movie. There was like the Kids' Choice Awards, and it was like best fight of the year, and it was that against the fight Twilight, where all they do is like push each other in Twilight. They're like, ooh, and ooh, and but Hellboy had this big epic sword battle with like clocks, and he's jumping under the gears and spinning around. It's like, and that lost. That lost to the freaking weird teen vampires pushing each other a lot.
Fun fact about movies,
Kids have no appreciation for the fine arts.
Do,
That's-
do you know what vampire almost appeared at the end of the first Blade movie?
Is it Morbius?
Oh my god, what?
It was Morbius. He appears in an alternate ending of the first Blade movie.
all right. I have
That is incredible.
I have a couple good ones, so I'm not sure which one I want to take because I don't want Jared, who has two picks next, to pick one of the other ones. So I'm going to pick this one because I think Jared's going to pick it. I think it's his list, and I have a little bit of an ace up my sleeve. So I'm going to take Ryan Coogler, who Black Panther. I know
considered
that.
it.
I know
I
that that's
considered
not
it.
a big list to pull from, but when we see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, I guarantee you, we're gonna look back at this, which is not that far away from when this episode releases. We're gonna look back and we're gonna be like, okay, Ryan Coogler, good pick.
Yeah. I considered Ryan Coogler. I'm like, let me see who.
Oh
has
no, you're taking the
under
ones.
belt.
You're taking my third.
But you know, who knows? A month from now, I may come and find you and just like beat the shit out of you for taking that pick away.
I'm just walking down the street, comes out of a car, just.
It's what you get. I am going to take John Watts, the director of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Spider-Man trilogy. I think
That's
he did
a
great
really
job.
good pick. That's a really good
dang.
pick.
Reintroducing Spider-Man, and that, you know, taking a lot of things we've already seen with this character from two other versions and breathing fresh breath into it, and you know, being able to incorporate it into a wider universe. And Spider-Man: No Way Home is probably one of my favorite Marvel movies in the MCU and just in general.
Okay, wait. That was your first
I
pick?
can
Did you pick
respect
two?
that.
That was my second pick.
Wait, what was your first pick?
My first pick was Christopher Nolan.
Oh no, sorry. You get two picks. You get two picks now. Is what I meant. Sorry.
Okay. Shit. I thought I was hoping.
He picks himself. There was a fan film we made.
Yeah.
The Incredible.
I'll
Who
save
directed The Incredible Bulk?
DCU.
The Incredible Bulk's director. That guy.
Yeah. Oh man, there's some goodies on this list, and I guarantee none of the three of you have any of the rest of them on this list, so I could really go either way. I'll be nice to Mako because I know he probably has this one on his list and not pick this person. I'm gonna go with Richard Donner, the director of the first original Superman movie, because that really inspired a lot of what has come later in this genre.
Jared's whole personality.
It's really the
comes from the
embodiment
Superman.
of of what like a superhero movie should strive to be. So Richard Donner for my surprise third pick.
Wait, what movies did he direct?
The Superman the movie and Superman 2, like the original from the 70s.
Okay, it's a mid
Kevin
pick.
Feige loves that movie.
So I had to change one of my picks because originally I thought that Ryan Reynolds directed the first the Deadpool movies, and I was gonna think that was my sleeper pick, and then I just double checked and I was wrong.
They don't even have the same director.
Yeah, I know. I just figured that out. So sad. I was between two people, but I think more definitively, I'm going to go with Jon Favreau. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 3, 2.
He did not direct Iron Man 3.
No, he didn't.
He
Are you
directed
sure?
Iron
Just
Man
2, I think. 2 was the last one, right?
Yeah, Shane Black directed Iron Man 3.
Oh, rip. Shane Black. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? I'm going to stand with it, though. Honestly, a lot of my higher picks got taken up. I thought I had a lot more wiggle room here than I did. But I do like Jon Favreau a lot. And from what he's kind of like directed across the screen with his like producing, I guess, in Star Wars, I could say that I think he's done a really good job. And I think Jon Favreau has more to go. So I'm going to give Jon Favreau.
He's your favorite.
Yeah. Mako, what you got?
All right, this is where it's gonna start getting a little tough here.
That's his catchphrase. That's his catchphrase.
John, I left
Jared Leto.
I left you wide open for one particular pick.
Jared Leto. No, I'm not picking him. Here's a sleeper pick, and he directed one of my favorite like childhood movies. I believe his name is Brad Bird, director of The Incredibles.
Oh.
That's a really good pick. Pulling out The Incredibles. Okay. All right.
Yeah, he is better than all the other Fantastic Four directors so far.
Yeah.
Josh Trank.
Okay. That's a good pick. Tom, your last pick.
Yeah, I got in an awkward position. I gotta think of a guy who directed the most recent Batman.
Oh, Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves is a good pick.
Matt
Reeves is a really good pick. And honestly, I think that's going to age well once we see it, like the sequel and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a fine one.
Some notable ones I was thinking were Scott Derrickson.
That's my catchphrase.
Which is Doctor Strange.
Are you guys? Oh wait, yeah, you guys got all three.
We got all three. Scott Derrickson was a good pick, and then Joss Whedon was one that could have gone either way. Like if you were giving him credit for like Avengers 1, and then you're like, well, it could have been better Avengers 2 if he had like gotten more say. Like you could argue Joss Whedon, but all solid picks. Ben Affleck, didn't he? He didn't do it.
Yeah.
Peyton Reed is another one that would have been good.
Yeah. Also on my list that I considered were Christopher Lord and Phil Miller, who directed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I thought Mako was.
Kevin Smith.
And
I thought about it.
And then I had James Mangold, who directed Logan.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, I've never seen that.
Tim Burton, if I had no other.
Yeah, Tim Burton's a good one.
For the first two Michael Keaton Batman.
All right, so let's go over our picks one more time. That way, if someone's voting in the comments, they can let us know who won. Jared, you start. What were your three?
I had Christopher Nolan, John Watts, and Richard Donner.
Okay. I had the Russo brothers, Jon Favreau, and Ryan Coogler.
All right. I had Sam Raimi, Guillermo del Toro, and Brad Bird.
I had James Gunn, Taika Waititi, and Matt Reeves.
All right.
I just
James
like the
Gunn.
between like Taika Waititi and James Gunn, like comedy, and then Matt Reeves dark.
Yeah, this movie's gonna have a. Wait, were we drafting them to make a movie, or drafting?
No, drafting them
No.
to see which had the best pick.
Are they fighting each other in a battle royale? This is their teams. Where are we dropping, boys?
I would say it's.
If this is the case, I would say
it's you're picking them to make a movie, a franchise, right? I'd say that this is your cast to build a franchise.
I'm well-rounded. Right? I got humor, heartwarming, warmed hearts, and Sag.
Look! I like to think that they're not fighting in a movie making them. They're actually like fighting like
fist fights,
against
MMA.
each other. And look, I'm just saying, Christopher Nolan, he insisted on crashing that plane through a building. He's a no CGI.
He's crazy.
Guy. He wants practical stunts. He will crash some shit into you. And I wouldn't be surprised to hear that he actually detonated.
No, Christopher Nolan was a top tier round one pick. All right,
he really had a black hole for Interstellar.
He did.
Set them really through a black hole.
Everyone, yeah, really.
It was dangerous, but he knew what to do.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Oppenheimer, but I just know because Christopher Nolan movies are loud. They're loud as fuck.
Yeah.
And I just, even the teaser for Oppenheimer, seeing that in an IMAX theater, it's going to be the loudest fucking thing I've ever heard. Atomic bomb going off.
Yes.
It's gonna be so loud.
Okay, so this leads us to our second draft. I'm calling this segment Draft Corner, right? I have one more segment after this, but this will be quick.
Can you sing it so it has its own theme?
Draft Corner.
It's the Mario Invincible music.
Better watch out, you might get copyright strike. Nintendo doesn't mess around.
Speaking of Nintendo, the next draft is going to be 3 again because of time. Draft your most overrated video games. Most overrated video games. Everyone give me a number as well for a number generator.
I'm going to go with 7 again.
I'm going to take
3.
4.
I'm gonna take the tried and true 7.
Take a different number.
7.5.
All right, we'll give him 8. Oh, it's 8. Tom goes first, and then we'll go Tom, Jared,
Could've let me have
myself,
7.
and then Mako. All right, so you get to pick first. Mako will pick twice when it gets to him, and then it'll go back. So, most overrated video games.
Animal Crossing.
Any reason there? You're gonna strike some.
I just think it gets boring and monotonous really fast.
Yeah,
but then people are like, yes,
That's
my
a solid
neighborhood.
pick. That's a
A
solid
bunch
pick.
of little animals that just say the
That's a
same
solid
stuff
pick.
over and over again. Oh, it's raining. Oh, yes, that's what I wanted this entire time. I want little animals to act like people and have a regular life.
I want more drama. They need to have way more drama.
I do want you to know that I hate you, but also you are very correct.
So, Jared, what's your pick?
No, I have a feeling that Burke's first pick is just going to be a generalized all sports games because I know he hates them. But I'm going to go more specific because what's a boring ass sport to even just watch? Soccer. You know what's a boring ass game to play? FIFA. FIFA fucking sucks. Just like soccer sucks.
All
It is
right.
just 90 minutes of two of your players running back and forth on the field while the crowd annoyingly chants "Ayo" for the entire 90 minutes, and then you end up with a
King
game
is
where the
spitting.
score is still
So-
0-0.
So this makes
Soccer
me
is terrible.
So this makes me mad because I don't like sports games except for FIFA.
Says a lot. But the Morbius guy.
But actually, I'm gonna take a different starter pick, and I'm gonna say Pokemon. And you know why?
Which one?
I'm gonna say any of the. I'm picking the franchise as a whole because it has not changed gen to gen. The only thing that has changed is that it is the tutorial part of the game goes for like an hour and a half to 2 hours of playtime. And I'm sorry, but I want to just pick up this game and collect some Pokemon, have some battles, and I spend 2 hours just clicking through text, walking 5 feet, and then clicking through text again, which tells me the same thing that happened in the last game. I have played these games, and I know exactly what to do. And guess what? If I didn't, just give me an option to select tutorial. Don't make me go through it as part of the story. It is overrated. They have not changed anything, and the Pokemon just get somehow a little bit worse. Fans make better Pokemon designs than the actual Pokemon designs in the new gens, and I stand by that. Pokemon's overrated. I wish it was better because I loved it as a child, and I want to rehash it and have it in a better version. I want something new. That's the end of that rant. I'm talking about the most Pokemon games. Arceus, I've heard, is really cool, and when it branches out, it's cool. But like mainline Pokemon games, let's get.
I feel like a lot of like Nintendo games recently haven't like innovated that much. So
Not
like
at all.
Pokemon seems like very similar to what it was before.
They just appeal to the next age of 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's what I was about to say.
it's like, I get it. These
you're not
games
the
are
target audience anymore.
Yeah, I get. Like I get it, these games are made for and targeted towards kids, but like still, like that tutorial section has gotten exponentially longer.
They're losing faith in all the players for some reason.
I'm also not fully convinced that their target market is kids. I hear tons of adults talking about playing Pokemon. I don't really hear a whole lot of kids talking about playing Pokemon.
How many kids are you hanging
Well,
out
how often are you in conversation?
Well, I have a lot of
When I go to the park
nephews.
and talk to random people's kids, they're never talking about
nephews.
Pokemon.
What are your
How
cousins'
close to the
kids
school
called?
are you getting?
Like,
You're
I don't
standing
know,
like 50 feet away and like, are you guys talking about Pokemon? I can't go over there anymore.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, checkmate. So, all right, I'll pass to
Typical
Mako.
Burke using anecdotal evidence.
That's true. Mako, what is your overrated game?
All right, this is tough, but I want to say this is a tough one. I think not the latest Mario Kart game, but like the Mario Kart Wii one. When it first came out, I thought it was like, I was like, wow, this is actually so cool. And then like when I went back to playing Double Dash again, I was like, oh, I don't like this as much. Double Dash is like, I just feel like on a mechanic wise, it's just like so much better.
I think Mario Kart is. I think Mario Kart's a really solid pick, even just like as a franchise as a whole. Because like you said, like they really like decided to make it mechanically way easier. I played Mario Kart for the Mario Kart 8, which like was for the Wii U, and then they just kept it for the Switch, and they were like, it's the same game, but here you can buy it again. And it's literally like the easiest game. I'm literally like I don't know. Like I think the Mario Kart if they like made it so you can like have a mode where you don't fall off, which I think is fine, but like that was half the fun as a kid, is like knocking people off and stuff, and like they made where the time to recover is so much faster. I stand by that. I like that one. All right, Tom, you get 2.
2 overrated.
Wait, don't I get two? Don't I get the second
Oh,
one?
Tom started. You get 2.
Yeah. No, I'll do it again.
For the second one, I'm gonna say, as an overall franchise, there's definitely individual games in this that I like love. Like I thought they were really well made, but as an overall franchise, I'm gonna get Call of Duty.
Oh, I was gonna take that one.
They really do.
Well,
as the only Call of Duty player in this group, Mako, and you're the one doing it.
You guys keep
on brand with Call of Duty players.
You guys keep picking games that do have like heavy criticisms. Like FIFA is like really criticized. So I don't know if it's necessarily overrated. Like Call of Duty has like constant criticisms also.
I do think it kind of like depends on how you.
I mean, everybody plays Call of Duty.
Because for me, overrated. When I think of like when someone asks me, what do I think about like something being overrated? It means like I generally like feel like towards the same direction as like the general consensus. Like if something's overrated to me, like I like it, but maybe not as much as more people do. Say, and the reverse for underrated. So for me, like what did I say? FIFA, like yeah, I'm sure if under the right circumstances, like I could have fun playing FIFA, but like overall, I don't think it's like the highest grossing, it's the highest best-selling video game franchise for sports games. So
yeah,
like it's not that good.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at too. And I think to be fair, Pokemon didn't. It has criticisms, but it is like it's the king. You're shooting at the king right there.
Yeah.
Also, I had Call of Duty written down, but in parentheses, 2014 the present.
Sure enough.
I'm not going to hear any criticism.
Well, I think most of those are franchises that just like didn't change. Which brings me to my second pick. I'm gonna go with GTA 5.
Oh man, that's what I was going for.
Now, was it innovative when it first came out? Sure.
No.
Maybe. It was the same reskin of the old games, new maps, slightly different things you could do. But really, what are you actually doing on GTA 5? Like, you're doing the same, like, 3-4 things. You're just, like, you're riding up, like, the 5-star ratings. Now, I will grant, all the people that use the GTA 5 online that like have made like all these that are just like basically role playing is the funniest shit ever. Like when people are like role playing as a cop and they're like, hey, you know where I pulled you over? And they're like, no, and they come out with a grenade launcher and they shoot them and they just like call him pig and drive off. Like that's the funniest stuff. Or just like all the role playing is funny. Or like when they have car meets, when everyone meets up with their cars. And then I saw a TikTok trend where a guy was just like going around and he'd always ruin the GTA 5 car meets with an RPG, and he'd wear like and then there was like, so I will say that kind of stuff is funny. I'm actually arguing against myself here, but the game has been out for so long and it's just being milked, and I don't understand why it's still being played other than the fact that it's modded. And I think if you have to mod a game, it's not necessarily great. Like Gary's mod is not like a great game, but like the fact that you can mod it to oblivion is what makes it good. And I think that's what GTA 5 is like the quality of GTA that's good is that it's modded because there are no new GTA versions except for the leaked one that's going to be delayed by like 2 years now. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But that's my second.
I was
pick,
going to be
GTA
delayed
5.
by at least 10 more years.
Who knows at this point?
Think of how many times they could re-release GTA 5 in that time.
All right.
It's okay. Bethesda is doing the exact same thing.
That is true.
Skyrim. And, until Elder Scrolls 6 comes out in 2049, we will get Skyrim in infinite more.
Yep.
My second pick is, I know I may be alone in this pick, but I am channeling a lot of hatred into this pick, and I'm going to pick the Injustice games solely because I am channeling my hatred of the superheroes, but what if evil trope into this. Because like as a game, it's fun. It's Mortal Kombat with the DC painted over it. Yeah. But I've always thought that superheroes, but what if evil? It's always been like a lazy what if. So and it's become as its own little subgenre has become so oversaturated in the last 10 years that I'm like, what can I pick? I'm channeling all my hatred for that subgenre into these two video games. So I'm going with the Injustice games.
All right, Tom, you got 2 picks.
All right, since you brought it up before, I am going to pick Skyrim. I never liked Skyrim.
Oh,
but people freaking love it.
I love Skyrim.
Even for the time when it was released, I just think it was that interesting.
The fact that it's still played it makes it a good pick. I think.
Yeah,
Jared,
but it's like
he's specifically talking to me.
I
pretty active.
Jared with like 20,000 hours on Skyrim over here.
Yeah, I just felt like it wasn't that fun to play. Like I played it a little bit, never got into it, but people love it, and they're always like just talking about like the stuff. But I always thought like the story didn't seem that inspired or anything. It just seemed like basic like fantasy stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. You're wrong. That's fair.
Okay.
What's your last pick?
I gotta think of something. How about did I never like everyone else like?
Oh, I have a good one, but you're not gonna like it.
Chess is overrated. Hasn't been updated in freaking years.
I'm mad because I have like 7 of these easy, and I'm wanting you to say one of mine just because like, but I'm not.
Can I pick chess, or does it have to be a video game?
Are you gonna do online chess? Because why not just play with people, you loser?
The game. They only have the same couple pieces. It's always.
Somebody was talking about there's an RPG game, like an actual role-playing game like D&D, but you're playing as chess players. So you're not playing chess, but you're playing as chess players. And then like there's like abilities, which is like naming the move that your opponent does, and you're like, oh, you did the classic Frenchman's push. And then you're like, it's just all that kind of stuff. I think it's funny. So yeah, chess is a good. I'll take that. All right, Jared, what you got?
So I have 4 more that I wrote down here. 2 of them which will piss off Burke, 1 which will piss off Mako, and 1 which will piss off Tom. And I'm trying to decide who I want to make upset. I know Burke will get the angriest, so I'm leaning against that.
I do.
I can get pretty angry too. Look, man.
He'll write on the board.
Yeah. Don't make me do that.
He'll write your name and then write an X over it.
Well, I know people are going to get mad at me for saying any one of these. So
I can see that.
You're hate mail to me. And granted, I have actually not played a single game in this franchise.
Please say it. Say it.
Dark Souls.
Yes!
What? You son of a gun.
Good pick. Good answer.
Bad pick. Bad answer. Jared, bad.
Good answer.
And other Souls-like games. I just do not have the type of personality where something being described as like the whole thing is that it's hard. Has never been selling.
No.
You understand? It's hard. You're just not good at the game then.
Well, it's supposed to be rewarding when you complete the challenge, which is what Skyrim doesn't have. Skyrim is not just because you keep playing. It's like new stuff, but it's the same thing as before.
I remember,
you're doing it over, but you're like getting better. And they put a lot of creativity in it.
I remember EA saying something similar about that for Star Wars Battle. Was it Battlefront?
Yeah.
And it got the most downvoted comment in Reddit history. So
Jared's got
they said they didn't like Dark Souls.
Jared's got
they said that the grinding that you have to do through the game is for a sense of like reward for the player. and somebody was
Yeah.
complaining why they had to pay like $80 or why they paid $80 to not have like any
That's a good.
characters on
Honestly,
box.
that's a really good ad for Dark Souls. They should just make like a pay to beat bosses. That would be really good. EA buy
No.
Dark Souls.
No,
EA
they
buy
should
Dark
not. That
Souls.
is not consumer friendly.
That's
See,
awful.
See, I made Tom mad. And granted,
Okay, fine.
all my-
You open
all
loot.
my
You
Dark
pay to
Souls
buy loot
experience-
boxes, and they might give you a win against the boss.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
At least it's microtransactions. It's
Yeah,
easier.
yeah, granted, all my Dark Souls experiences via watching stuff on YouTube, but like, I always hear people say like part of the charm is that it's really hard, and I'm like,
It is
"I don't want
perfectly
that."
rated. It is well received, and it is actually fun.
It is rated. I will have you know.
It is appropriately
Wow.
rated.
All right, I have some interesting
You're-
ones, and I don't want to. The one that I'm gonna pick, I'm gonna give some. I will give my honorable mentions after Mako goes because I don't want to give him any ideas. But I'm actually gonna pick one that's gonna piss none of you off. But I am gonna say it's overrated, and I'm specifically not to any of you, but to somebody out there that is the reason they keep making these games. Every time a new console comes out, they want to talk about how amazing their graphics are. And for whatever reason, they
Not
decide
cooking, mama.
the way to do it is to release Gran Turismo games. And they decide, let's show you the best graphics on this game that nobody plays. I want to meet one person. I owned one Gran Turismo game. The cars were really hard to drive, and it was not that fun. And like the
Get
cars
good.
looked cool, the graphics were cool,
Driving.
but like I'm sure there's like this small sect of people that play these Gran Turismo games, but that is the first trailer that they put in front of game releases every single time. Every single time PlayStation releases a new console, they put the Gran Turismo game up front. It is the first thing that they show to show how good these graphics are. And I'm sorry, that is not the right trailer to put ahead. There's no reason these games need to be made. Make the good good.
Well,
they're
they're-
overrated. Overrated.
So
Kinda
are you
like
not
tech
seeing the
demos.
Gran Turismo movie then?
No, I have not. Is that a movie? Is there?
They're making one. Guess
Sad.
what studio's making it?
Sony.
Studio Ghibli. Oh.
Studio Ghibli.
There's just a bunch of food in the car.
A24.
A20. That I would watch. Okay, I would watch an A24 movie.
The people that made Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. They're
Oh God, I'm scared.
Oh god.
Mako, your last pick.
No pressure.
All right.
No pressure. Yeah, you rounding
Yeah.
up.
Can you put
Yeah,
on? Wait, before you
I,
answer, can you put on one of the shirts? That
I cannot. There's not anything on them.
yeah,
They're blank. They're blanks.
just put it over your shirt. I think that will add to the scene.
Yeah, it'll add to the scene. No, I'm kidding. You're good. You're good.
What is the Spotify audience gonna do while we're waiting for Mako to change?
We'll
Just
tell some
describe
goofs and
it.
gaps.
Yeah, goofs and
We'll
gaps.
describe what Mako's doing. Okay, currently he's sitting down laughing at nothing. He's currently not
Oh
putting
my
on the shirt.
gosh.
This is the slow beginning.
Tell you what he's
Cold
not
open.
doing.
I had something that you guys reminded me of, and I forgot it while you guys were talking about online chess and Dark Souls. And it was a good one too.
Gotta write down your answers, Mako. You gotta
So
write them
I
down.
know,
currently,
I
Mako is
should've.
describing that he didn't get.
Yeah,
couldn't
if you're
remember his pick,
listening
and
on the
he's not
pod,
putting on a shirt.
he's
not putting
currently
on a
not
shirt.
putting on a shirt, describing how he forgot his answer.
He has this very angry,
Oh,
frustrated
man.
look in his face.
Yeah, very frustrated. You could see.
There's a-
I'm gonna
there's a
go
stri-
with.
There's a strange figure behind him, slowly rising.
I don't really think this is overrated necessarily, but I feel like a lot of people. Oh no! I know. I'm gonna put
found it.
Overwatch.
Ooh,
Overwatch.
Overwatch. Good pick. Good answer. Good answer. Not
Especially
Overwatch 2 though.
especially since
They
the-
fixed all of that. Overwatch 2 fixes all the overratedness of
Oh.
Overwatch 1.
I'm sure they did, but
What?
I remember
Because they
seeing
don't
like
like it?
TikToks and stuff where people like, here I am waiting like 2 hours to download this game. All their servers are broken or whatever, or, like whatever messed up, and I'm just like, oh boy. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Overwatch. for me,
Ooh, good
yeah.
pick. All right, I want to say some notable honorable mentions that I didn't hear were Fortnite. Was
Oh, yeah,
shocked
that was the other
Fortnite
one.
wasn't picked.
I
think it's got-
Fortnite is just like generally hated.
That's
So,
what I was
here's the
saying.
thing.
Some of these are just like.
I think Fortnite's hit a comfortable level of rated. I think Fortnite, I think it's still a good game. I think it's fine. I know a lot of people still play it, and I think, you know what? Props to him. And then I was going to say Madden, and I pulled back from it. I'm just going to say, like, you watch real sports or, like, give my football players superpowers or something at this point. I'm playing a game.
Let them have the turtle shell for Mario.
They used to have games like that, but then I think somehow EA made it so that, they couldn't get the rights to use NFL players or anything. I think that's what happened to other games.
I could see that.
So you can blame EA for that one.
What if they just
EA.
made people whose names rhyme
Praise
with the
be
players?
EA.
Like Jekyll Mick.
Yeah.
Michael Mick. Like, what if they just made it clearly them, but just had their names slightly different?
Just partner up with Key and Peele and just use all the fake names from their skits.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
But my honorable mentions, this is a big one that'll piss people off. Minecraft.
Ooh.
Minecraft is appropriately rated.
And
You're
then,
wrong. Moving on.
Then I know Burke is going to get mad when I say this. Every Halo game.
No!
I love Halo,
Jared,
and I'll accept
coming
it.
for your throats.
I'll
I
accept
think it's
that.
underrated.
I'll put Apex.
Halo is really fun.
Apex is overrated for sure.
I'll pick
still love it,
volleyball.
I also want to say Kirby Air Ride. but
No, you take
that's
that
more than
back.
overrated.
Stream's
Well, that
over.
one's like
Overrated.
This is
That
done.
one's too
We're done here.
experimental.
All right, so we were gonna have a separate second segment, but I think for the sake of time, I'm gonna save those for our next one. It's a pretty good one, so I'll save that. But let's go through one more time our draft picks for this one. That way, people in comments can let us know who won. I'll just start with mine. I had, if I can just remember, Pokemon. I had. Wait, I just forgot. Oh, Pokemon, GTA 5, and what was my third one? What did I say? Third
Gran
one?
Turismo.
Gran Turismo. Pokemon, GTA 5, and Gran Turismo are mine. Jared, what were yours?
FIFA, Dark Souls, and Injustice.
Tom?
Okay, mine were Animal Crossing, Skyrim, and then just chess.
Okay. And make
Online chess.
Online chess.
Oh, yeah.
I have specifically Mario Kart Wii, but we could throw in a lot of the other Mario Karts as well. Call of Duty, and Overwatch.
Which is solid picks. You guys
I
let
do
us
have
know
a
in the
question.
comments as well, yeah.
I do have a question for Mako. Is there any reason you didn't put on one of the shirts?
We are curious about that.
behind? Yeah.
It just didn't seem like the right time.
All right.
I'll leave it.
So
I'll
comment
leave it at
below
that.
if you or leave a review. If you leave anything left in a 5-star review, make sure you just note that it is because of Mako's not putting on
Yeah,
the shirt.
I would imagine
Just so we
that
know,
hurts us.
because I assume like everything else would be 5 stars. Or just don't leave a 4-star review and then just like comment on the YouTube and be like, why didn't you do that? You know, I was gonna.
Yeah, comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta pressure him more.
Yeah,
Can
definitely
people
more.
please
I
talk
think
about
that's more than reasonable, honestly. Yeah.
that's fair.
Leave a comment.
Like
bashing me why I didn't
if-
put one of these
if he
sweatshirts
gets
on.
if he gets 50 comments
Yeah.
the next time he shows up, you gotta be wearing one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you want to be the
Okay.
first to know if he does put on a sweatshirt, be sure to hit that bell icon and subscribe.
Oh yeah, that's true. To do that, I would do that.
We
and
will
then
keep
also,
regular updates
Yeah,
on Twitter.
regular updates on Twitter about that as well. Very important note. Comment below. Let us know what you want us to watch next. Otherwise, we'll be sitting. We basically just sit in the void until we get those comments, and then we just turn on that movie, and then we sit in the void until our recording. So. Pretty much waiting for a movie to watch. Otherwise, it can be also a season of a show, but maybe we'll probably only like watch like a couple episodes for maybe we'll do like 3 episodes for a season of a show if we have to do that. But like, so if it wants to be a season of a show that you really want us to watch, then you can like put that there too as well. So just whatever you want to do. Or if it's just a specific
Preferably-
episode with no context, we'll watch that well.
Preferably something on one of the major
Yeah,
streaming
don't make us
services.
pay for something.
Yeah.
So just
And
comment,
I'm not-
but let us know.
Yeah, I'm not looking to sign up for like Roku. Or,
Yeah.
or-
No Tubi, no
YouTube Plus.
Yeah, no Tubi.
It's like the streaming companies like see this and they're recommending things on their streaming platforms. We have to pay for them. Like, oh, Severance.
I also don't have Apple TV.
Well,
so
a lot of Severance.
don't make me find Apple TV.
Yeah,
I do have
well,
Crunchyroll though. We'll take Anime
Yeah.
Rex too.
Yeah, I do have a hard anti.
We would never pirate anything.
Yeah, of course.
Never.
I will not do anything on Paramount Plus. I'm still boycotting them because of how many commercials they put on the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yes, as am I, because of that, not because I can't afford it. Anyway, guys, that's been it for that. This is our first episode of Burke and the Betas. Thank you guys for also being betas, and we'll see you guys next time.